Ugh, great, another Adam Sandler movie. Wait a minute. I'm looking at IMDb here. Drew Barrymore is the co-star? There's no Nick Swartzen anywhere to be found? It's not directed by Dennis Dugan? Then it might have a chance. Fuck. Blended is the latest paid vacation disguised as a movie for and from Adam Sandler, but is also his third collaboration with Drew Barrymore. The story here is that Adam Sandler plays a man who's lost his wife to cancer and has 3 daughters. Drew Barrymore, on the other hand, plays a woman who has divorced her husband and has 2 sons. So the movie opens up with the two of them on a blind date at a Hooters, and yeah, it doesn't work out. Apparently, you don't take your girlfriend to a Hooters on a first date unless she's working at a Hooters and is on break. So through a series of coincidences that I'm not going to get into, both Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore book vacations separately to the same family resort in Africa, and the two families have to spend a week together. And unless you don't watch a lot of movies, you know exactly what's going to happen and how this movie is going to play out. Back in my review for Grown Ups 2, I've mentioned that I don't like Adam Sandler movies. But I can't say I don't like all of them. I enjoy funny people. The best one I've seen was 50 First Dates, which starred Drew Barrymore also. And everyone tells me that his best movie is The Wedding Singer, which was also the movie he starred in with Drew Barrymore. So I figured, okay, Drew Barrymore's in this movie. It's gotta have a chance. Because usually, whenever he's with Drew Barrymore, and it's a romantic comedy, an actual romantic comedy, then it often works. Nope. Now, I will say, it is better than his last few movies. It is better than Jack and Jill, That's My Boy, and Grown Ups 2. But it's still pretty terrible. Now, the first 10 seconds of this movie, I repeat, the first 10 seconds of this movie made me want to leave. I mean, it starts out with Drew Barrymore's kids going fucking nuts at their house while one of the kids is setting a flag on fire, the other's shooting a fire extinguisher that happens to have foam rather than the fire extinguisher smoke, or whatever it's in a fire extinguisher. And it was just like, okay, I want to leave. Especially since On the Verge of Chef, seeing how more realistic that family is, I just wanted to get out of there. But after that, the movie really wasn't like the worst thing in the world. As I mentioned, it's better than Jack and Jill, Grown Ups 2, and That's My Boy. But it's just an Adam Sandler movie. It just has a bunch of pratfalls, a bunch of sex jokes, and just a bunch of running jokes that aren't really that funny. I mean, there's a running joke where Adam Sandler's oldest daughter is mistaken for a guy repeatedly, and that gets old really fast. Then there's another running joke where Drew Barrymore's oldest son has a hard-on for his babysitter. So what he does is he cuts out a picture of the babysitter's head, glues it onto the body of a supermodel, and basically masturbates to it. It gets old really fast, and it's not really funny. Nothing about the movie itself made me mad, except for the fact that, once again, and I feel better saying this now since he actually confirmed it, is that Adam Sandler just made this movie just so he could go on vacation to Africa. I mean, that's all his last few movies have been. I didn't see Just Go With It, the movie he was in with Jennifer Aniston, but that whole movie took place in Hawaii. Adam Sandler basically said all of his movies, or most of his movies, were paid vacations starting with 50 First Dates. But 50 First Dates makes sense. Everything else is just like, you're doing this just so you could get a free vacation that the studio can pay for. But that's the most frustrating part. It's that he just goes on vacation, doesn't really put any effort into how the movie plays out. I mean, in a good movie like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, they spend time in Hawaii, no question about it, but it's a really good movie in the sense, and it plays into the story. This, it's just like no effort is put into it. And plus, you got people in here who just really feel like they could be doing better things. I mean, Joel McHale is playing Drew Barrymore's ex-husband, and right on the verge of Community getting canceled. This is what you get in Joel. I mean, other than that, he's just playing Jeff Winger again. He's playing asshole Jeff Winger if he had kids. So I guess no. I'm not gonna put Blended in canon with Community. I can't do it. But then you've got Terry Crews, who was enjoyable at first. He's one of the entertainers at the African resort. But after a while, he gets really annoying really fast. They overuse him, and he's only there just so he can point out the obvious plot point that just happened via song, just in case the audience is too stupid to figure it out themselves. Which, given the IQ of the Happy Madison audience, it's probably helpful that they have someone pointing out a plot point that just happened. Also, Shaq is in the movie. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, just like Grown Ups 2, he has no reason to be there other than it's Shaq. Now, there is one thing I can actually compliment this movie for, is that there are 2 scenes where Adam Sandler is talking about the times he had with his wife before she died of cancer. And honestly, those 2 scenes, or one of the scenes was really well done. In fact, the other scene beforehand was really well done, except it's ruined by a joke about Adam Sandler's oldest daughter on her period. I'm going into forbidden territory here for me, so I'm going to leave it at that. I did get a few chuckles here and there, and probably the ultimate highlight, and this is kind of a backhanded compliment, is seeing Drew Barrymore's oldest son getting abused, whether physically or just being embarrassed. I don't support child abuse, but when the humor is just as bland and as bad as it is, you gotta fall on something. I also like the chemistry between Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. And I can kind of understand why the 2 of them work together so well in stuff like 50 First Dates. I just wish it was in a better movie. So, I can't say I hate this movie. It's still pretty terrible, but unlike Jack and Jill, That's My Boy, and Grown Ups 2, it never pissed me off. It was never downright awful, and I was glad to see an Adam Sandler movie that didn't make me want to carve my eyes out with a butcher knife. I still cannot recommend this movie at all. There's no reason anyone should see this movie. I mean, yeah, just don't waste your money. I'm not going to tell this movie to burn in hell because, again, it never pissed me off like Grown Ups 2 did. But just don't waste your money. Save your money, work up money to go on a vacation with your friends or family. Go on your own vacation, have fun there, rather than pay $8 to $12 to see Adam Sandler go on vacation while accidentally make a movie in the process. So that's all I have to say about Blended. Leave a comment and tell me what you thought of the movie. If you saw it, subscribe to my channel for more stuff in the future. You can check out my other channel, AlexG8462. You can find links to my Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram accounts on my YouTube page. Go check me out on letterboxd.com, letterboxd.com, under the name The Real Mr. Robinson. Share me with your friends and tell them about me. And remember to know it before you see it. This has been the Cinemas with Mr. Robinson, and I'll see you guys later.